Who better to direct a children's movie than a director who's made some of the most gory horror movies in the last decade? Also, Anna Kendrick is in another movie. All that and more on today's episode of The Real Review, so stay tuned.
Welcome to The Real Review.
Welcome to The Real Review, sponsored by Parametric and Lazy Ape Studios, where you get some of the latest happenings, real thoughts, and perspectives in the world of film and television. Everybody, I am here with Joel. Got to see an early screening of Goosebumps 2, Cunningham.
More or less.
Right.
It was funny they actually played the trailer. Well, a couple thoughts on that, probably. They played the trailer for Goosebumps 2 during the... before they showed the house with the clock and the walls and everything. I'm still trying to figure out how to say the name. I'm learning. So you're going to have to bear with me throughout the podcast.
I keep forgetting it too. It's all good.
I need to come up with an acronym and then just use that, but I haven't. Anyways, they were showing the trailer for Goosebumps 2, and first I was thinking, isn't that the movie I'm seeing? And then I was like, no, that's Goosebumps 2. And then I thought, where's the cast from the original? And I'm like, this sounds really bad, but I'm like, if you can't get Jack Black to show up even in like the trailer for like, it doesn't look like he's in the film at all. Maybe he makes a cameo appearance, but I'm like, if you can't even get him in the film, that's just not like a good sign for me at all. The first one was like kind of silly, fun romp sort of.
Side note, he is in the second one.
Is he?
Yep.
But like, he's not even in the trailer.
He's in the new trailer that just came out.
Is he?
Yep.
Okay, good. Because I was like, man, if you can't get
R.L.
him,
Stein, man.
I know. I'm like, that's why I was like, if you can't get R.L. Stein,
This is in Goosebumps,
Jack
by the way.
Black, who's like,
Everybody.
he takes on some good projects, but he'll take on pretty much anything. I feel like.
Yeah.
I like Jack Black, so don't get me wrong, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And who am I today?
I keep going.
And Joel, who am I today?
I am here with Matt Kachow.
Like Lightning McQueen?
Yeah.
Ka-chow.
Hey, yeah.
My kids like Lightning
Kachow.
McQueen.
Hey.
Really, whose kids don't like
That
Lightning McQueen?
Moved from, because I was going with Jack Black, and then I went to Kung Fu Panda, which he doesn't really have a catchphrase.
I like Kung Fu Panda.
I like Kung Fu Panda too.
He's like I
guess skadoosh.
Like he's like skadoosh, or like, and then he is just general awesomeness. Like he does that all the time.
Kung Fu
awesomeness.
Oh,
yeah.
radical. Yeah, like I could have done something like that, but then I went to I need a catchphrase, so I went Kachow.
Ka-chow.
Yeah, even though I'm not a fan of the car series.
Owen Wilson.
There you go.
Yes. Anyways,
Wow.
if you're new to this show, I apologize for that. Anyways,
I'm not sorry at all.
Just kidding. Yeah, if you're new to the show, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. This is where we talk about movies, kind of our thoughts, our perspectives on it, and kind of where the angle we're approaching it. We're approaching it from the angle that we are not really professionals in this. By I mean, we're kind of learning it and kind of taking it in stride and in a journey together in this wonderful trip of film and cinema. Anyways,
Yes.
Joel approaches film from a very almost like analytical, skeptical, maybe a negative kind of way.
Yeah.
He likes
Negative Nancy has been a term thrown my way.
And then also,
From time to time.
I approach it from maybe the other side of that spectrum, where maybe more emotionally evolved. How did it make me feel? Did I get emotional during it? I can overlook some of that stuff. Not to say that we can't cross paths, but we have varying degrees of differences in our film reviews.
True. We usually get a similar view, like a similar rating, within a few points, but for different reasons.
Right,
which is always fun for me.
Like
interesting.
if we rate something the same score, we could have completely different reasons why we like it.
Seriously.
Yeah. Or don't like it.
Yeah.
It's craziness. Anyways, so that's the show. Welcome to the show. Joel, why don't you tell people how they can get connected with us?
I'd love to do so, Matt. There's a couple different ways you can get connected to the podcast. I'd love to encourage you to check out our website, which is realreviewmedia.com. Also, Facebook.com/realreviewmedia. We're always posting things up there. Finally got a chance to see the Mary Poppins trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Mary Poppins.
Yeah, I posted a trailer review of that.
Yep, and we posted that on Facebook, and we got all that stuff going up, not just that, but other things. And then we also have our Instagram and Twitter, which are both at Real Review Media. Additionally, we'd love to hear your thoughts and perspectives and opinions. Please send those to us, realreviewmedia@gmail.com. Please save us from all the spam that we've been getting from random places.
Yes.
I don't even know how, but
They're not
find
even
you.
asking about movies.
They're not. It's
crazy.
They just start sending you to the spam.
Yep. Randos.
Yep.
Anyways, that's it. That's how you can do that. So let's dive right in today. So the big release that we had this past week, you had a chance to see. I didn't get a chance to see it.
Correct.
And that's the house with the clocks and the cement in the basement and the windows.
The house with the clock perpendicular to the
so
spaces of the sides of the wall.
The house with the clock on its walls.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Tell us about this one, Joel.
Okay. So, brief synopsis before I start talking about it. A young orphan named Louis Barnevelt aids his magical uncle in locating a clock with the power to bring about the end of the world. Spoilers.
Why would you want to find that?
Directed, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they want to stop it. They got to stop. They
I
got to
gotcha.
stop the clock,
gotcha.
Matt. You know, directed by, of all people, Eli Roth.
Weird.
Yeah, shocker there. It stars. I'm going to talk about that a little bit, but just get to some of the cast real quick. Jack Black, of course, is Jonathan Barnevelt. Kate Blanchett as Miss Zimmerman. Owen Vaccaro, who's the young boy, Louis Barnevelt. And then you have Kyle MacLachlan, comes back as Isaac Izzard. I say comes back because I haven't seen him in anything for a while.
Okay.
Since the whole debacle of the remake or the sequels to Independence Day.
The debacle.
Yeah, debacle. And then Renee Elise Goldsberry plays Miss Izzard, his wife. And that's kind of the main chunk of the cast. There's like a young boy. I think his name is Sonny. I'm not sure, but I could go in and go all these different people. Those are the big four. I would say are Jack, Kate, Owen, and Kyle.
Sounds good.
So it's directed by Eli Roth.
Interesting.
And,
so weird.
I'm gonna start there because when I sat down for the movie, first of all, you said earlier that it was the big release that a lot of people got to see. There was like 4 people in the theater, and we're talking about. I was at the Cine Capri Theater.
What time was it during the day?
I was 9 at night.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I always go to movies late at night, and it's usually kind of slim anyway when I go.
It is for me as well, but this was like 9,
okay.
And it was, the Cine Capri seats like, 200, 300 people.
Yeah.
And there was probably, I think I counted about 8
total.
Okay. And so, I'm not sure how well I haven't checked the numbers. I'm not sure how well it's performing, but I think what we have on our hands here is a film that's kind of outside of its, like, I think the timing for this film would have been a couple weeks from now when we're closer to, like, Halloween.
Sure.
Then it would have made a lot more sense.
They probably didn't want to compete with actual Halloween, the movie.
They probably didn't.
Right.
But this, if they had really marketed this, and I'm surprised they didn't, if they really marketed it as sort of a Halloween-type movie, then it would have done probably a lot better.
Right.
Because as it is, it's kind of marketed as, like, this kid adventure film in the vein of like Harry Potter
or Goosebumps. I got Goosebumps vibes.
Yeah, but it's not quite any of those things.
Okay.
And I think that's like from the very moment that I saw Eli Roth's name pop up, like this phrase popped in my head, which was "what the hell?" Like, like I don't want to be rude or crude, but like the entire movie, like that phrase kept every few like every few scenes that would just. What the hell? Like,
so
what?
Guys, Eli Roth, he does crazy horror movies.
Yeah.
He's always producing them and creating
Green
and directing
Inferno,
them.
Hostel, blah,
like
blah,
really gory, like horror movies.
Torture stuff. Yeah. And so it was like, I was wondering how that was going to influence this film. And I think there's definitely some sensibility specifically to the production design and the way things are shot, lighting and framing wise. Like, horror films tend to do these kind of like awkwardly close-up type angles with like exaggerated emotion, to really make you feel like you're connected. Like very few horror films are like really far back, with Eli Roth, especially. So there was a lot of that. There was a lot of just like what I would call overacting. I think specifically this kid, Owen Vaccaro, I feel bad. Maybe under a better direction, he would have been a bit more.
Sure.
But he was a really hard kid to follow throughout this film. It was kind of one of two extremes. He was either really flat and just kind of like, why are you doing this? Oh no,
really?
Which is pretty normal for a lot of kids.
Okay.
They have a hard time like emoting the emotions they need to.
Sure.
For like bad kid actors. I mean, actors in general.
Yeah.
But for him, or he would go in the opposite extreme, and he came across as like the stage act, like somebody that had been
like
trained
on stage.
Yeah. Because he would go to these super like moments of just like super emotion, like like screaming, like, and it was just like, whoa, calm down, like take it down a notch, Scotty.
Wow.
Like tone it down. And it was just, so it was very weird with his characterization. He would have these moments where it was like You just need it. You're at like an 11, and if you just take it down to like an 8, I would be happy and I'd be fine,
Right.
you know? But then he'd have other moments where he's just completely flat. And so that was difficult because he was hard to connect with
Right.
as a character. And they set up a few things at the very beginning of the film that are sort of kind of designed to make you feel for his character.
Yeah.
But it's brushed over so quickly, like the loss that he's experienced and how he got in this context. You really don't care.
Grab onto it.
Yeah, and then it's very briefly brought up with this like magic 8-ball that he has, and it's kind of they use it. The one thing I will say about this film is that as often as I was saying, you know, what the like why is this happening, the film had the things that the crazy things that happened for the most part did tend to tie into the script. So they would have some sort of thing, and you're like, now, what is that? Why is that? But it would eventually come back into the script. So it wasn't like they just had a bunch of random stuff. The things were very random, but they all tied back into the script, so it didn't feel as crazy. But I'd say the actual plot progression, the way that things went, the direction it went, you were left feeling very like...
So you love this movie?
Not at all.
Oh,
no.
okay.
And when it ended... I really just was kind of sitting there stunned a bit.
Okay.
Because this movie, I'm really surprised that it didn't go for a harder rating.
It's PG, right?
Yeah, it's PG.
Really?
But it breaks into some pretty dark territory, especially close to the end. I mean, there's full on like demons, you know, and they're like, you know, blood rituals.
Wow.
Yeah, things like that just you're kind of left going like, what?
Whoa.
And I think the reason it might not have gone PG-13 was because there wasn't a lot of like jump scare type moments. It was more of like the slow, like kind of build burns.
Weird.
Building burn scares, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Not build burns.
Build burns.
Build burns. Yeah, I think Jack Black did decent. I think the best actor in this, which is generally often the case, was Kate Blanchett. She did just...
I heard it's pronounced Blanchett.
Blanchett? I
don't know. I don't know either. I heard that first time the other day.
I thought it was Blanket.
Yeah,
Kate Blanket.
that's definitely wrong.
Yeah. So she probably did the best acting job. Jack Black was at his somewhat Jack Blackiness. I thought he was good under control because he can go ridiculous.
Yeah.
But he was the funny part. Like there was 3 or 4 moments that were pretty funny, but everything was very predictable. Nothing really kind of was like shocking.
Okay.
You know, it was an odd film. That's the best way I could put it. I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't really laugh. It wasn't like edge of your seat.
I heard it was marketed. Not marketed. I heard it's like it's like half a kid's movie, half maybe for older people.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to tell kind of if it's a kid's movie fully.
The first half of the film
is more kiddie.
Okay. And then it really branches, like I said, into some darker territory.
Yeah.
I mean, it's dealing with like, I don't want to spoil things too much, but it's dealing with like World War II stuff.
That's crazy.
And violence and demons and, like I said, blood and necromancy. And it gets it, like I said, and it's Eli Roth, so it's not surprising.
That content's not surprising, but the fact that it gets away in this with a PG rating, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, I don't know. There was good and bad. I think the fun moments were kind of fun at times, like when they're practicing with like the magic and in the warlock stuff, like that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But it really felt like what they were, in a sense, trying to do was make a film that appealed to both audiences.
Yeah.
And it really didn't end up appealing
to
either. Yeah, because I think for kids, it's a lot of the content's going to go either be scary or go way over their head.
Right.
And for adults, the young boy is so hard to handle. And his plot is so bland and flat. Right. It's like this very standard story of like, you know, trying to get over the loss of his parents by finding new parentage, you know, in another relative.
All right.
And what that means in him and process that's like the most stereotypical like plot for the boy.
I gotcha.
And Kate Blanchett, Blanchett. She had her own little story structure, and so did Kyle. Jack kind of did.
Okay.
Jonathan in the film kind of did, but it wasn't really significant to what was going on. He was more of just kind of like a catalyst for all this stuff to happen.
And a humorful guy.
Yeah, and I will say there was one scene in particular.
Okay.
So numerous scenes where I was going, what the? And a couple scenes in particular that were very off-putting and kind of like grotesque and weird and bad.
Really?
There was this lion that had like, and maybe this is the way normal lions are, but it had like, I'm not going to.
Do you not know what a normal lion is?
Well, no, I don't know if this is the way that they do this, is what I meant. He was defecating.
Okay.
But he was like a tree. So he was like a bush. He was like a shrub lion, if that makes sense. Like he was alive, but he was a shrub,
Oh.
like a bush that had been
Okay.
trimmed into the form of a lion, and he was defecating like projectilely, but it was like
Weird.
leaves, and so he's basically going around like projectile pooping on. It was like the most
I'm
off-putting.
pretty sure that's not what real lions do.
No, I don't know,
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't think so. That's why I said I don't know. Like I've never sat there and watched lions, go to the bathroom, but like
Shoot leaves?
yeah, but it was like, poof, and it
That's
would be
weird.
like, poof, yeah. And then the second scene that was like that, and then I'll give my review. And you can
Okay.
go. There was a scene close to the end of the film, again, it had already gone into darker territory, and I don't know why anybody ever does this, but they turned one of the characters into like a half baby, half human hybrid. It had like the head of an adult, but the body of a baby,
Like Deadpool.
kind of like Deadpool, but it was like fully baby, and it's like the most grotesque, like, like
It's
you
like
see
not
it,
good.
yeah, it makes your skin crawl
Ugh.
because it's just like, it's just really unnerving.
Yeah.
So
Did you ever see the CG baby in the Twilight series?
yes,
It's pretty bad.
it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
It's the CG's a little bit better than that.
Okay.
And this one you can totally tell it's like a fake.
Yeah.
And then I was like sitting there and I'm like, of course the baby's gonna start peeing, and then
Yeah.
sure enough,
Yeah.
starts peeing all over the place.
You're like, yep, called it. You look around at all the people in the audience. See, I called it, right? Yeah, you called that.
pretty
right?
much.
Yeah.
Like I will say this, like, and this is like the last thing I'll probably say, but like the conclusion to this film is so anticlimactic because it's like they're using it as like a resolution for the main character's Lewis, like
Okay.
his struggle to like
Yeah.
overcome things as like a resolution for that, but it's so like really like that's
Okay.
they trying to do all this. There were so many questions of like, you didn't just that's not what, huh? You
Yeah.
know? And yeah. So
Okay. Well, rate this thing, man.
I'm gonna give it a 68.
68.
D+.
Okay, D plus, guys. D plus.
Yeah.
All right. So you definitely recommend it for everybody out there.
Just for you, Matt.
Gotcha. Okay. You'll recommend
Ka-chow.
it for me. I'll ka-chow.
Ciao.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
let's move on to
Let you
something
go, yeah.
that might be a little bit more interesting. I saw the movie A Simple Favor. Let me
Lord.
break that down for you all. Synopsis: A woman seeks to uncover the truth behind the disappearance of her best friend. That's a very, very broad statement that doesn't really delve into much of the story at all. It's actually based on a novel. It's directed by Paul Feig, and it stars Anna Kendrick, Ian Ho, Joshua Zatine, Blake Lively. I guess those are the main people.
Yep.
And this movie is interesting because I feel so weird about the way that this movie was made. It's categorized as a comedy, crime, drama. The way that the movie was marketed was more of like the drama, crime side of it. It had a Gone Girl vibe,
Okay.
kind of a mystery behind it. And I will say that this movie, my favorite parts of this movie are when it goes full on drama, Gone Girl vibe. I thought the mystery crime element of this movie was actually really, really good. There's some like twists and turns,
Twisty Magoos, as I like to call them.
twistiness of this movie
It's
that
a
were,
twisty
that
Magoo.
actually had me pretty good. That I was like really into, and I was really like, wow, what's happening right now? What's gonna happen? Like that part worked really well. The part that I'm not sure about that conflicted with me, but I'm sure it works for some people. It's doing well. It's like 84% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Okay.
And that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Let me start with the positives before I get into the part that I feel like might be a negative, but it might not be a negative.
Okay.
Blake Lively, Anna Kendrick, Josh, everybody involved, really great job acting. It was done top notch, directed really well, looks good. The mystery, like I said earlier, the mystery side of it I thought was actually really engaging. I wanted to know what was happening. Let me kind of transition that, I guess, into the part that I'm confused about. Is it's made the comedy element, I don't feel like works in this movie very well. So you have this like really serious things happening, but then it's like jokes like Anna Kendrick would make in any other comedy that she's in, like a Pitch Perfect movie. Like she makes jokes, and then there's this like
Usually sarcastic.
and then there's this like PTA parents in this classroom that she volunteers in that are like they have the screen every now and then to make jokes and it felt really weird. It was a weird contrast between the drama, mystery, crime, intrigue, and then these like random jokes that and silly situations that I just was like, this kind of takes me out of the intrigue a little bit. I want to get back to the mystery side of it.
Yeah.
Because that part I felt like actually worked really well. So I just wasn't a huge fan of that. And I'm sure people liked it. And there was a couple of moments like, that's kind of funny. But for the most part, I was just like, let's just get back to the serious part. Overall, Blake Lively was really good. I haven't really seen her in a lot of anything.
She had a couple children. I know she had one that kind of took a lot of time. I think
right. So I saw
between the
last movie I saw her in was The Shallows. I thought I liked that movie.
I'm not sure. She might have had the kid before The Shallows. I don't know.
The Shallows. She was in that movie with Taylor Kitsch, where they're like cartel people. I can't remember what the name of that movie was.
Yeah, that was so bad.
And then that was bad. And then Gossip Girl, whatever. That's all I know. She's done a lot more movies.
My favorite thing she's been in.
She's done a lot more than that. I don't really know. But I thought she was really, really good in this. There's actually quite a bit of range that I saw from her that I haven't seen previously.
Yeah.
So I was impressed with that. Anna Kendrick, she showed some range on her side as well that had some emotional depth that I haven't seen from her before. That's not just sarcasm all the time.
Yeah.
And I thought the husband, he did a fine job. Nothing particularly stands out about him, but overall, this movie I thought was good. Kind of, like it's hard for me to judge it because I felt like the comedy was so misplaced in this movie. I don't think it should have been a comedy. I thought it should have been just a straightforward drama,
thriller,
crime, thriller, mystery, whatever. I thought that would have worked really well for this movie, and all the parts that I thought worked really well for the movie were those parts. So I don't know. Have you heard about this movie?
I did. Yeah,
Okay.
I actually saw the trailer for it a couple times, and every time I watched the trailer, it was similar maybe to what you actually experienced in the film. I was really kind of put off.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. The first trailer I saw didn't have the comedy stuff.
It didn't have comedy, but it just felt really almost like a Lifetime, you know what I mean, kind of movie.
Yeah.
Like it felt very like melodramatic, and then the music was really good. That was like the best thing about it. But it felt like they were going for this like over the top, like what's this about? And whoa, so it's like it was off-putting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I gotcha.
But I didn't get any hint of like humor. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
I guess
the humor for me.
The actual funny thing is
it didn't really work. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard. I've been thinking about this. I don't know what I've been kind of stuck on, like how I'm going to rate this thing, and I've been thinking about it and processing it. I want to give it a C+.
Okay. I think it's fair, not really knowing what to make of it.
Yeah, I want to give it a C+ because I do think it does have some really, really good moments in it, and a couple times where I was like, oh, weird, what's going to happen? Towards the end of the movie, I will say I do not like where this is going, and then one of the twists happens, and I was like, oh, good, okay, that makes me feel a lot better now. Yeah. But I did not like where some of the characters were going. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Why is this happening right now?
Yeah.
And then they totally flip it on its head a little bit. I was like, oh, okay, that works. I got it.
I might try and watch this.
Okay.
I might try to check it out. Not because of the way you rated it, but Paul Feig, he's such a weird director to me, and I did not like Ghostbusters, the new one.
Right.
So I just kind of want to see what he's trying to do with it, I guess, and what direction he's maybe taking it in. That's it.
I mean, he's done quite a bit. So I mean, he's no stranger to the whole thing. He's got the humor sensibilities. It's just it's a weird vehicle to put that humor in like a crime drama. You know, to me that just didn't really mesh well in my mind. I'm sure it did to a lot of people. 84% is legit on Rotten Tomatoes. So, anyways, got to give it a C+. As far as the level, maybe 77, 78. But overall, I did find enjoyment in the movie. The humor didn't work, but that's it.
You wouldn't suggest it, I'm assuming.
No, I wouldn't suggest it. It's also
rewatchable.
No, I wouldn't say rewatch. I would say the rewatchability is kind of low because the fun of the movie is the mystery and the intrigue and the suspense of the mystery. And if once you know kind of what's going on, you're kind of like, okay, I'm good.
But that humor keeps bringing you back.
I don't know. Definitely not for children. And it's just, I don't know. I would maybe recommend it to people who like the Anna Kendrick style of humor / Gone Girl, that kind of a thing.
Okay. If you liked Gone Girl, maybe check it out.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, that's all I got for that. You have any other questions about the movie?
No.
Okay, cool.
I might can make some up. Do you want me to?
Yeah, no, you're good.
In the opening scene for the establishing shot.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So, other than that, yeah, let us know what you guys saw. If you guys got a chance to see Gone Girl / Anna Kendrick in this movie, Gone Kendrick, in A Simple Favor, let me know what you thought about it. It's based off a novel, which I guess got some critical mixed reviews as well. And if you got a chance to see that, or the house with the clocks and the
that
walls
are around in the building at some place that we
let
can't
us know what
find.
you thought about that movie. If it's something that you enjoyed, if you just thought it was Ghostbusters 1.5 until Goosebumps 1.5 until Goosebumps 2 comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know what you guys thought about that. You can email us over at realreviewmedia@gmail.com. Reach out to us, facebook.com / Real Review Media. Same with Twitter and Instagram at Real Review Media. What are you dancing? You're dancing over here.
I'm going to spoil stuff.
Okay.
I'm going to say the chair
The chair and what?
in the house with the walls and the clocks
Okay.
is alive. There you
The
go.
chair is alive, you guys. Just like Johnny Five.
Johnny Five,
Yep.
the chair's alive.
Anyways, yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Let us know what you thought. If there's anything else specific you want to tell us about. Joel, anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
He's good, everybody. It's been real.
It's been real.